Okay, so we are talking about branding. This is the part 2 video. So if you guys have not checked out part 1 yet, make sure that you find that it is in our Balance Bound file section. We have a section that's called Team Calls, and under there is going to be listed our team calls, and you'll see branding part 1. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and watch that before you come back to this replay. This is Team Balance Bound, and my name is Chris Ashley, and I'm going to walk you through some branding that I got at the Platinum Edge conference with Christine Dwyer. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. You guys can stay on mute and then be taking notes. Make sure you have your notebook and pencil out. You're going to be writing like rapid fire, I'm sure. And hopefully you can take some of the things that you've had a chance to brainstorm since watching branding part 1, so that you can start to be thinking about that as you are applying it to this one. Okay. So we're going to skip through the first part and start at branding part 2. And again, this was a presentation that was brought by Michelle Myers, one of the top Beachbody coaches, and she did an incredible job even after, the 15 or 20 different presentations that there were in 3 days. People were still talking about her presentation, which was the first one up. So we're going to go over some of the top 5 branding mistakes, how creating a story with your brand is important, consistency, and addressing social media. So your brand must tell a story. And just like any story, any movie, any musical, any play that you go to see, there's always a character, an ingenue, a leading actor character that is that you're going to be following their story throughout the show. And so that character always has a problem. Right? So the character has a problem, then the character finds a guide, runs into another character in the movie or play, and that guide then leads them to finding a solution to their problem that they opened up the movie or musical with. And then that guide is going to motivate that character to action, which will bring us, to the end of the story. So we have a character, we have a guide, we have a problem, and we're going to find a solution, and we're going to take action, right? So with the top 5 branding mistakes, the biggest mistake you can do is make yourself the hero. And I thought that was really interesting because you think, here you are, and I'm at this big conference and it's all about me. I'm here to get as much information as I can and grow my business. And, what am I here to learn? And so it was just really I don't know, just sort of struck me right away. Yeah, I'm not the hero in this story. This is not my story as much as this is my business that I'm creating. But it's not, it's not us. It's not the coaches. It's not about us. It is about them. It is about our customers, our clients, our challengers. Ultimately, we are here to serve. We're here to serve somebody else, and this is their story, right? So you are not the hero, but the person that you're reaching out to or that is reaching out to you for help, right, to find a solution. So your challenger or your character is the hero in this story. And we are going to be their guide, right? So we're going to be their guide that comes into their life and to hopefully find a solution for them. The second branding mistake is lack of clarity. Clarity is essential when building a brand, and I can speak from experience. I have had a lack of clarity in a sense. When I first started this business, I had goosebumps about how I felt this was so right for me, and it was fulfilling a larger purpose and passion in my life, which was to reach young dancers, artists, performers that potentially want to have a career in New York and Broadway and LA, and use my previous experience and use this avenue to reach them. That's something that I've always wanted to do, and it just fills my whole body with passion and purpose to reach them. And I can tell you, with a lack of clarity, I've struggled with like more on how to reach them. And so I've had a lack of clarity in that sense because I haven't necessarily gone down that path with my business, but rather I'm helping everybody, and anybody that responds to my posts or needs my help, I'm there for. So right now, my hero, my character in the story is like this broad spectrum. And I feel like that's, it's been wonderful to help those people, and I wouldn't, change a thing. But I can tell you that clarity is something that I'm really going to start focusing on, because I feel that that's been a big part of lack of growth in my business, is having that true clarity to reach my passion and purpose in this business. So how hard is it for a customer to do business with you, right? So how clear are you making your business online, in social media presence, in conversation, when people ask you what you're doing? Is it very clear? And, does the customer or person you're talking to understand what you do and how to do business with you? For example, most of our team offers free challenges, free 5-day challenges a month. If you're not, that's definitely something you want to do. And you want to make that clear to social media and to your customers, so that the people that are looking for a solution can ultimately find you. So some of us, and most of us, do clean eating challenges. That's been like a huge successful part of my business, is obviously the free challenges, right? To draw people in that are looking for a solution, that are relating to their poor eating habits. I mean, that's something that's going to be ongoing, right? Since we've grown up, it's never gone away. Dieting has always been a huge topic of conversation, people concerned about their health. So I don't feel like that's going away. So offering clean eating groups is great. But maybe you do something else, right? So maybe you do a fitness challenge. Maybe you do something specific. Maybe you're doing something related to business or goals or time management. Whatever maybe your niche might be, how easy are you making it for that person to understand what you're doing and do business with you? Meaning, do you have links in your bios on social media, like Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, if you're doing any of the video, on YouTube, wherever your bio is, on Twitter? Do you have a link that's taking them back to the best place to reach you, the best place to do business with you? Do you have a link to a freebie, a freemium, as Chalene Johnson calls it? Do you have a link to your Google form for a free clean eating challenge, or perhaps if they want to join your coaching team? Is there a way for them? Is there clickability and direction back to you, or to a form for an email list to do business with you? How targeted is your marketing? And that's exactly what I was talking about with dancers. That's something that I'm just really going to start focusing on. Kind of putting your marketing and brand first, as opposed to just sort of putting this broad thing out there, and the people that are coming to you, which is wonderful. But if you want to reach a certain niche market, perhaps the branding and that needs to go out there first, and you just need the patience for them to come. So, I've struggled with follow through and commitment. Well, that's because I'm going to reach college students and post-grad students that are much younger, and much more inconsistent perhaps, or not sure where they are in their life, So certainly if your niche market is reaching out to mothers, they're apt to be more consistent, right? So just what is your target audience? What is your target market? Is it moms? Is it single ladies? Is it guys? Is it professionals? Is it people that are stay-at-home moms? Is it others that are entrepreneurs and already doing, other entrepreneurial at-home businesses? Is it athletes? Is it dancers? What is your targeted market? Be focused and specific. And I think the more that you can focus and make that specific, the more success you're going to have in the long term, as opposed to that broad spectrum. And we're going to get into more of those specifics as we go. So, and this was just a great sentence that was not only mentioned in Michelle Myers's branding, but as well throughout the conference, and that your brand trying to satisfy everyone satisfies no one. And actually just reading that again for myself, it reminds me that I'm not necessarily satisfying myself. right? And ultimately, I need to be satisfied in this business, or I'm not going to have the passion and purpose behind it, right? So, and we're going to get more into your passion and purpose, but I just think that it's important to understand that we're not just trying to throw spaghetti at the wall, hope it sticks, and, we're making a sale. So really just keeping in mind that when we are trying to satisfy everyone, we are satisfying no one. The number three mistake is selling to external problems, which is, the average business who sells to external problems. That should be external problems, like weight loss, right? So yeah, we have programs and products that ultimately are for weight loss. But if you know anybody that's come to you, and I can tell you from after being in this business for a year, most people that are coming to me looking for a solution have done this before, have tried and failed. How many people go on diets and fail? How many people do liposuction and gain the weight? How many people do the band or gastrointestinal bypass surgery? They gain the weight back. And I feel it's because what we offer as Beachbody coaches is something unique and different than has really ever been out in the market before. There's always been fitness DVDs, there's always been different diets and different shakes, and but there really hasn't been that personal support. And I really feel like that is what drew me to Beachbody. And I feel like that is where I have seen the success in my business. I can say one of my top, who's now a coach, was there for the discount to be on this weight loss journey. She shared with me so many times on how she has tried every different diet and shake and failed. And most of those people that are coming to us are going to be like, oh, she's trying to sell me another fitness program. She's trying to get me to do another shake. I'm going to fail again. They've already set up that path, right? That I'm going to fail doing this thing again. But what you really need to offer is that personal relationship. You need to offer that relatability, that emotional support, right? And so, as the average business is selling to the external problems and they're making their revenue, which is great, but the person is really not getting a true solution that is long lasting, which is ultimately our goal, right? Is to change lives, not be a temporary fix. So the top businesses are selling to internal problems. And that's why you always hear us talking about your why. We talk about it in coaching because it's just as important to have it in coaching as you're running your business and understanding why you're doing it, as it is to really get the why from your challengers. So really try to dig deep. And when they give you brief answers and you feel like there's got to be more, or you feel like you don't really know how to help them except here's the product, right? Because this product will fail them too if you're not in their internal why, and there's a chance that they're not ready, and that's okay. And we have to have patience for that. But ultimately the most success, and it's been proven in my business and over the last year as well, is getting into their why, getting them to really open up and share those goals, be vulnerable. And so that's like their health is failing. They're on this medication, or they can't have a family because they're so unhealthy, or they have children and they want to be a good example, or they have health problems in their family, in their genes, that they're trying to change. But their why, their problem is emotional, getting into the emotion, starting with the goals, and then asking, how would it make you feel if you reached your goals? What would that change in your everyday life? It's somebody that's saying, I can't even look at myself in the mirror. I'm hosting a clean eating challenge now. And I've gone back and forth with requiring before and after photos, primarily before photos, because that's really all the control you have, whether they complete the challenge or not. And I've gone back and forth. I think I've gone back and forth a couple times. I've started with requiring them, but not necessarily making it mandatory. So some people gave them, some people didn't. And then I stopped making it mandatory. And one of the times was when I had somebody come to me and sign up, and then they read the guidelines and they saw the pictures were mandatory. They were like, I am definitely not doing this. You can take me out of your group. Like, it was a big emotional, obviously, effect they had. And so my heart went out to that person, and I thought, well, this is the person that needs my help, you know? So, okay, I responded. I was like, you don't have to do your photo. I'd love for you to do the group, any support that I can provide. And they never responded. So whether they were already offended, but I have to, you know, I have to remember that it's not about me, that reaction was not about me. I didn't do anything wrong by saying I need before pictures, right? But it did impact me because I'm emotional and I care about people and I want to help people. And I thought, well, hey, if photos is going to turn people away, I'll make it optional. So I made it optional. And I hadn't been collecting photos, and so very few people would. I would encourage them, and I'd always say, you know, I encourage you to take photos, because if you're truly on a journey, you're gonna want to track where you started. And so they'd be hit or miss, but ultimately, I'm doing a disservice by not collecting photos, and I feel more confident in that today. And I gained more confidence even at this conference because I got to be with my upline, Megan Eggleston of Team Phoenix, who's incredibly successful in this business. And she makes her photos mandatory. And that wasn't always in the beginning of her business, but I think it comes with confidence and it comes with time. So I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I just want to share my personal experience. And so this month, since going to this conference, I'm making them mandatory. And the reasoning behind how confident she was is a couple of things. So one is, here we are giving them all of this for free, right? We're taking time to create menus. We're taking time to run a group. We're taking time to personally message everybody and support everybody on an individual and group basis in this group. We're taking a lot of our time and we're giving them a lot for free. And so the least they can do is give us a before and after photo, because ultimately for our business, the before and after photos are what sell ultimately, right? It's the stories, it's the progress, it's the solution, it's this works, right? Before and after. So that's an essential part of our business. And without that, you can say and talk people to the ear and you can say, oh, this is going to work. But if you have a photo, that is more impactful. But for me, it's also more about them. And I have seen in my experience in the last year, the challengers and customers that I've had the most success with are the ones that submitted the photos, are the ones that have the before photo and are so unhappy that they are making a change, that they are inspired and motivated. And they're like, I am not happy. Wow. It's the people that are like, oh, I can't believe this photo. Like, oh, you know. But at the same time, that's what you need. You need that emotional hit, you know? And then I'm always telling them that if you're starting this journey and you're truly serious about this journey, you're going to want to look back at your before picture when you have an after to compare to it. You're going to want to have that before picture. So even after 5 days, people see a change. I have several before and after photos from 5 days where there's a change. That motivates you. That says, hey, this is working. I want to continue, right? And then it also says to us as coaches, it really helps us see more so where to spend our time. The people that are ready to send their photos are ready to make a change. Those are the people that you want to help. The people that are ready to receive the help. And most likely, those are the ones that are going to turn into your long-term clients. The ones that are just in it for the free clean eating and you're not getting anything from them and you're not requiring anything of them. It's like, they'll just go do another free clean eating, you know, why not? So it's really just digging into that why and how it makes them feel in the photos. Anyway, that was sort of a tangent. But that's just been really helpful in my business. So I'm doing it this time and I kicked people out today. It's Monday and I kicked people out that didn't send photos. And I said, I'm happy to invite you back in tonight if you send me your photos. As soon as you send me your photos, I'll get you back in the group. So I may lose 5 or 10, people, but I know that I'm focused my energy on the right people. So number 4, basing success on the wrong number. It's not about the number of followers you have on social media, but it's about the number of customers taking action. So yeah, we work to build our business every day. We work to add people to our social networks every day. And I do believe that that's important because you may be connecting with new people that you didn't know before that then can follow you or may want what you have. but it's also more about finding the right people that are ready for the change, I guess, is pretty much what I just talked about. And that's about inviting and following up. So those are also really important. It's inviting and following up, and those customers are the ones that are going to take action. It's not about the number of dollars coming in. I mean, I get it. It is. It is. We're running this business so that we can have a life, by design, and we're doing it for income. I mean, it's hard to say we would all do this for free because it's hard. This business is tough. It kicks you, kicks you when you're down, which I think is great too. In hindsight, it builds a lot of character, and the growth that I've had just from working this business is exponential. So for sure that's there, but we need to make money. But I think if you have the money before the customer's needs, it's going to be a lot harder for you. It's going to be a lot harder for you. And again, it's kind of turning it back around to making yourself the hero. It's not about you. It's about the lives. It's about the number of lives that you're changing. And I promise the number of income, the dollar, will increase with the lives that you change. And we know that. But it's always good to be reminded. The fifth one is inconsistency. Again, it was like the biggest thing at the conference. It's almost every single person up on that stage said it. And for me, that is, even before I went to the conference, I'm doing Chalene Johnson's Smart Success Academy. And I will do some calls on Smart Success Academy when I finish that. That's it's like an 8-week program if you do it every day. So it's probably taking me about 3 months. I'm hoping to finish this month. So I'll do some calls on that. That's been great with like goal setting and running your business and things like that. And it's for me, my number one goal, personal goal, was consistency. And so it's just been thrown at me ever since. And I understand the importance of it. And ultimately, that is one of the big whys behind why I'm doing this business for me personally, because it's a character defect of mine, inconsistency. It's been tough because it's just been such a part of my life. I'll go real quick just so that I can, relate on a human level, in hopes that you guys can find maybe some inconsistency in any part of your life. Because I think it's something that everybody can work on, right? So inconsistency, I think, probably started from when I was a really young child, and I was a child of divorce when I was 2. My parents divorced, and I spent time at each place. Like I would Monday, Wednesdays at my mom, Tuesday, Thursdays at my dad. Every other weekend we would switch. And, just looking back, like that's sort of a lot of inconsistency there. And then, growing up and going to New York and wanting to be a dancer, there's a lot of inconsistency in when is your next job. There's a lot of inconsistency in having a job long term. I mean, depending on how you work the business. But for me, that's the way it was. It was always, when's my next job? What is my next job? Just my time of day was always in flux. I think that was maybe one thing that I missed at college, was the consistency of a schedule, going to class, the same class every day or whatever that was. I didn't have that. And I lived on my own at 19. So I didn't have anybody, I was just living my life. Right. And so looking back, I just see a lot of inconsistency in my pattern. I saw a lot of, working and auditioning and doing that grind, and then quitting the business because I didn't feel like I matched the people that I was around. And so I quit. And then I went and I did a corporate job that was still dance. And then I quit. And then I went back to the business. And then I did this job for a year, and this job for a year, and this job for a year. And, so there's just a lot of inconsistency. So that's something that cuts like deep to me, that is something that to my core, I want to work on. And so my why for this business is mostly selfish for me, in a sense that I want to learn consistency. I want to understand consistency. I want to know what consistency feels like, because that's what I want to teach other people. I want to teach people ultimately what I didn't have. And I want to teach it through the mistakes that I made, through the success that I had, through, life experiences, but ultimately it comes down to consistency. And so no matter what this business throws at me, I am going to do my best to stay consistent and stay in this business, because I do know this one fact. It won't be easy, but anyone can be successful in this business if they follow the systems and they stay consistent. And so that is one of my big whys. So, and that's ultimately what, she's talking about when it comes to your brand, that none of this matters if you're not consistent. We talked about it. Don't base your business on a paycheck, base it on your purpose. So really find what is your purpose behind this. Like my purpose is consistency, because I want to be able to educate people and teach people from my mistakes. And I can't do it if I'm here today and gone tomorrow. Right? My purpose is that I want to reach dancers, and I want to share not only a healthy lifestyle, because that is so important as a dancer and living in that New York fast-paced, cutthroat lifestyle. It is so important to be at your personal best. You will be successful in that business. You will get jobs and be a professional performing artist in whatever capacity you want to be, if you can stay consistent and you can live a healthy lifestyle. And understanding what it's like to live in New York City and live paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you can relate if you have college debt, college loans, if you have a mortgage on a house, if you have children, like anything, that income can make a huge impact in the life that you're going to live. And I truly believe this business is the outlet to do that. That is my purpose in this business. So I just need to focus my clarity on reaching that market and that brand, right? So that's something that I'm continuing to work on and really focusing these last 2 months on. So, and then one thing she said, if you think it's hard to start, it's a lot harder to start over. And that's because of the inconsistency, right? So there are so many coaches that start over. And that's why this message is out there, because there have been, and there are successful coaches that have started over. And that's why she can say it's so much harder, because people can be successful starting over. But you have to keep in mind that with the inconsistency of quitting, all those people that you were working with before, are they going to trust that you're going to be there if this is really a change they want to make, if you weren't there before? So that's really something to consider and really figure out, how can I pick up the pieces? What can my strategy be today to start to be more consistent, so that people can trust that I'm not going anywhere, that this is something that I'm doing? Because ultimately that's what people need. I mean, it comes down to like a young child needing a parent. They need to trust that that parent is going to be there, right? So make a decision to be consistent, and you will see the benefits in your business. So we're going to go through, here we go. Okay. So we have a little less than 10 minutes, and I can totally get through this, but I am going to keep moving forward. So what is your story and what is their story? Who is your hero? Right? So we know it's your challenger, it's your customer, it's your clientele. What type of person are they? What do they do for a living? What are their values if they're different than yours? What part of Facebook groups are they in? How do you find them on social media? What are they hashtagging on Instagram or on Twitter? And I don't want to overwhelm you and make you feel like you have to be all over there on social media. There were many speakers that talked about, and Chalene still talks about it and believes in it, that 2 platforms is enough. Be really successful in 2 platforms. If it's Facebook or Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. I mean, Facebook we know is the Beachbody way. So Facebook, I would highly encourage that is one of your platforms. Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it Twitter? Find what is your second one? And, what are the people doing on those? What are they doing for hobbies? What is your hero doing? Who are they following? Who are the other people that they're following, so that if you follow them, you can find your hero and find the people. What is their external story? Where are they coming from? What is their internal problem? And how is their external problem making them feel? Right? What is their internal problem? Who are, again, just getting deep and cutting into the why, who are the people that you want to reach? Perhaps it's somebody relatable that you went through, right? So, for me, what is their external story? It's that they're going to audition after audition and not getting a job. Well, what's their internal problem behind that? Why aren't they getting the job, right? And how is that making them feel? How are you going to find those people? How can I or you position yourself to be their guide, right? So it's a way of finding them and knowing the solution already for the people that are having this problem, right? You need to position yourself to be their guide, because they're not going to find you, right? Is their internal struggle appropriately addressed in your marketing? So what you're doing now for marketing, are you reaching the people with the internal struggle that you're trying to reach? Is it there? Is it clear? Right? Is there clarity there? How can you give them a plan? Right? What is your plan and how can you get that to them? How can you call them to action? And that's, again, going back to, where's your freebie? Is it easy to do business with you? There's systems. When it comes to inviting, when it comes to the Beachbody tools, there are systems. So use the systems when it comes to Beachbody, 100%. And that's how you really call them to action. So your market and your mission should be the same. Bottom line, top performers are the ones that have a purpose. And of course, the products create revenue, but it's the people with a passion that give purpose. And ultimately, that's where we want to be, right? We want to have the passion so that we can give purpose behind what we're doing, because that's really going to keep us here and that's going to draw people to you. If they understand, if they see your passion, they have a problem, they want to be part of your purpose, part of your solution. All right, so I'm going to, that brings us to the end of our branding. So I just want to leave it open for questions. I want to leave it open to you guys to talk about your brand. Maybe we have 5 minutes left. I want to hear where you're at with your brand, maybe where you're struggling. Do you have a specific, any of those things that we talked about? Do you feel like you have a specific market? Do you feel like you have a clear brand? Who is your hero? Like descriptions of them. Is there any detail? Like what detail can you provide today? And where are the question marks still and the struggles that you're still having that you need to brainstorm, and we all can help brainstorm together? So, I pretty much have shared everything where I'm at with my brand. Hopefully that has given you guys some idea to kind of think about it on your end, because I know on this call we're all different and we're all reaching a different market. And that's also something to remember, is that going back to branding part 1, is that people are going to do business with you. You are your brand, and you are different than any other Beachbody coach, and you do have something to offer because of your story, right? So I'm just going to leave it open to you guys to unmute yourself since you're on the call, and give this opportunity to share where you're at, where you feel you've found success, and where you're struggling with, so we can help brainstorm.
Okay. I'm still struggling with my brand. I think I guess in college, I was always like, in the entrepreneur, I felt like I had a lot of people that didn't relate to me, though, in that mindset that I was mature and I wanted to do things on my own and things like that. And I still feel like I can't find those people. So I tried to reach out to all the people that in my major who I went to college with and see if that's something they'd be interested in. And they're busy going to grad school and continuing their education. And I'm like, I would never do that. I'm done with school. I kind of wish I didn't go to school. But it's just, it's hard to find those people for me. And then also, when I go out wherever and I meet friends, the first thing that they tell me is, oh, you paint furniture. And they don't say anything about the fitness part. I'm like, yeah, I do. And so I'm like, that's so weird, because I don't post as much about that, but it sparks more people. It's probably because a lot of people are in the fitness world, and they do see it all the time, but people don't see people painting furniture all the time, But I don't know how that would really relate to my brand. I'm not really looking for people who paint furniture, So I'm just struggling.
Yeah, but you bring up a couple good points. So a couple thoughts that I have is that so look at your brand for painting furniture, or look at your like page or whatever you might have created. Why do people know that that's what you do? Because maybe that's something that you can tie into coaching and do what's working over there and build it over here. The second thought is connect with people on Facebook that do that. So I'm sure you already have found like groups and things like that. But it's getting in there and creating relationships with them, because it is the like-minded people that you're going to friend and befriend and get to know them. And that's where it turns into the next thing.
Right.
I think it's great that you went into your college and to speak with your old majors and stuff like that. So I would encourage you to find like colleges, like people that have like a similar town or similar city, a similar experience you had in college. Find those colleges and find those majors. So reach out, expanding outside of just your college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can't hear you, Taylor. I don't remember what you did last time. Ah! But the face is amazing. Oh, I know. If we don't get you, we'll meet in Balance Bound, okay? I'll stick around in the Balance Bound group and answer questions. Does that sound good? Okay, so we'll meet in that Balance Bound group, and we'll just chat for the next 5 or 10 minutes and go over branding and questions and thoughts and share ideas. Okay. Bummer. All right, so I am going to bring this call to an end, you guys. I think it's great. Branding is just huge. The more you find the clarity, the more you find your brand, the easier it's going to get. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And don't think like, oh my God, I don't have it. Like, I'm not going to be successful. I've been doing this for over a year. I'm still figuring it out. You know, I'm still figuring out my way. It takes time, and consistency is important, because I've been more successful in the second half of my year than I was in the first half of the year, because people trust and know that I'm not going anywhere and that I'm doing this. So do as much as you can. This month happens to be December. If you're watching it now, it's live. It's December 1st tomorrow. And you really use this last month to not even necessarily push business, definitely keep it out there, but push relationships. Talk to as many people as you can. So when January comes around, they're coming to you. Okay? And we'll spend the rest of the month still working on our branding. Okay? I'm going to end the call, and I will meet you guys in our group. Bye, guys.